second chance in the game.
We are new 8-man program. I've been an 8-man coach the last 2 years, 11-man the 8 years before that. Started out in Shreveport, Louisiana. From there, at Calvary Baptist, assistant offensive line, and then moved to Dallas to finish my degree as a student, and started coaching at a school called Grapevine Faith Christian School. Had some success there. Finished my degree, moved on to Dallas Christian School in Mesquite, Texas, where I was the running back coach and the junior high coach. And then I got an opportunity to go back home. My mom had gotten sick, so took the job at Riverdale Academy, which was an 8-man team. So kind of shifted my world trying to figure out how do I coach 8-man football. Spent last year there, and now I'm at Lee Academy there. So a little bit about 8-man is the normal formation is you're going to take your 2 tackles and they're gone, and then either the running back or the slot receiver. So starting that's the normal offensive formation. Defensive formation, you can play a little zone, but you're most exclusively man. And then special teams, it's almost the same. So I'm going to give you a little, that's kind of the intro of 8-man. I'm going to do an overview of the offense, defense, and special teams of the 8-man game. Start with special teams. When we do our kickoffs, usually you have 4 on one side of the kicker, 3 on the other side. And I'll show you here in a minute how we do our kickoffs. But I number the field like a checkerboard or a tic-tac-toe board. Go 1's shallow left, 2 shallow middle, 3 shallow right, and then 4, 5, and 6 are all middle. 7, 8, and 9 are deep. But in 8-man, the kickoff's a little different because you have instead of going 10 yards, the kickoff has to go 15 yards in our association. So you have a lot of onside kicks, squib kicks, sky kicks. And that's why I like to do a lot of sky kicks because it gives your guys a chance to go down. Another thing I forgot to mention about the fields in 8-man. Normal size fields, I believe, is 52. Regulation 8-man is 40, but sometimes you have coaches that refuse to change their fields. So you're stuck playing a 11-man field with 8 guys, which is a strain in every phase of the game. In our kickoffs, we usually, the 4th guy, if we kick to the left side, which you have your 3 and your 4, we'll swing that 4th guy around the kicker to give us some momentum, or the 3rd guy around the kicker to give us momentum to the right. That was really good for us last year, and we could play some tricks and games with that because with 8-man, a lot of deception has to happen to be successful. So that's our kickoffs. Our kick returns, we usually go 4 or 5 in the front. Just depending on what kicker you're facing that week. You could be facing a guy that boots it, but like I said earlier, you're going to face teams that onside kick it almost every time they kick off the ball. So our kickoff return is usually 5, and then we'll go 5 or 4. But if we do 4, we're gonna have our 2-2 box, or we'll go 2 right behind those up front guys, and then we could be stacked, or they could be, like I said, the box. And we like to do, I'll show you in a minute, like some reverses on off our kickoff returns, some pass backs, some fun stuff. But predominantly we're going to see that ball cross us, we're going to engage a guy, but we're going to try to create the old school wedge if possible. You can't get foot to foot anymore. You can't link arms like they did in the old school, but you can get, I think, 2 yards or 2 feet is the rule. So we do that, and we had some success with it. But like you said, your back guys are your athletes with that. Moving on, and I'll show you all this on the film here in a minute. We get to our punt game, and predominantly I like to just punt out of our offense. if it's reasonable. We'll get in we call it empty or 2x2, and we'll just let our quarterback punt. Or if it's a special punt situation, we'll go with 2 wing backs, 5 linemen, and our punter. And it seemed to work pretty good for us. And sometimes, like you'll see in my film, our punter was our best lineman because he was our best athlete overall. And then again with punt return, it's usually just our defense. We'll put our corner or safety back and everything like that. So I'm about to transition to film on our special teams. So as you can see here, we're down in Gulfport, Mississippi right here. It's a kickoff. It's start of the halftime, so I'm trying to get some kind of change of momentum. That's the best place for special teams. That's my heart, special teams, along with the offensive line. But we talk at halftime, hey, if they kick it deep, I think we can get something here. So we went a reverse. Here you'll see we play through, and then we'll look back at it. They kick it to that squib, kind of a squib guy, and we get enough. And if we just a little bit faster, didn't have a whole lot of fast kids that year, but if you look back, they like to sky kick this. And in a tight game like this, those kickoff returns are great, and the front line does a pretty good job there of at least touching somebody. And Adam, number 8, does a great job of selling it and lets Parker get down the sideline, and he almost gets there, but I think we crash it in and end up going up 10-6, because you don't really kick extra points unless you have a great kicker. So we end up going there and winning that game. This was a big part of that. So special teams can make or break you, and I know 11 and 8 man down there. So moving on to the next. This was a game, a district game, and game was out of hand. They were a pretty good team. This was the state champion, but always like to get those extra touchdowns if you can on special teams. So do something similar here. They do that kickoff, and we try to sell it as we're doing a regular, try to get that throwback there. And Parker, real shifty guy right there, just gets a spin cycle going, and he takes off. I think that makes the score 68-14 at that point. But we did a great job there. This is what I was telling you about our punt. This is a little different punt. We got our 2 receivers on our line, our normal 3 linemen. Then we have our wing back here, and then we got a little personal protector back there. So we get that going. Ends up doing. This is the last game of the year, and personal protector just steps up, looks, tries to shield anything, and he does a good job there of forcing him out of bounds. That was a good job there. If we go back, we want to try to force everything away from the punter, which sometimes happens, sometimes it doesn't. Just depend on how much juice your guys have at this time. And 8 man almost you have to play everybody all the time. So but they do a good job right there of getting there. They fill their lanes pretty good, and we stop a huge return. Good job by Parker right there making that happen. So we go on. Now this was our double wing formation on punt, what I was talking about in preview. We get our 3 down with our 2 wing backs, and their job is to force everything out away from the punter. So they do a pretty good job there. Not a whole lot of rush. The interior lineman didn't do a good job, but that's a good punt. And they end up downing it right there. Okay, now this is what I was talking about on our normal punt when it's a reasonable situation. I think it says 4th and 10 right there, around the 50 or 40 yard line, depending on what field you're playing on. You could see us potentially go for it. We just move our quarterback back a yard or so, so they might not know what's going on. So we get there, a decent fake gets over the receivers, and you see it's a big field change because in big games, this was also a district game. We end up winning this one, and it ended up helping us big time at this point because I think we were down 14-0, ended up regrouping, ended up winning like 37-14. So it ended up being a pretty good thing for us. So we're back to that. So special teams, that's, I think, an 11-man or 8-man, whatever you coach, special teams can make or break you. It's 33% of the game or 33.3% of the game. If you can have success with these different special teams plays or different strategies that you could have, it could flip the script for you in a game, in a big game, which it helped us last year. So we're going to move on to our defense, or offense. We're going to do offense right now. And like I said, when I was helping with 11-man, I was never a 11-man head coach, but I was an offensive line coach and a running back coach. So I got to help in a lot of the planning, and under Coach Chris Hogan at Grapevine and Mike Wheeler at Dallas Christian. One thing I learned is you got to have a simplicity with your offensive line. You got to have a simplicity in your offense, but make it look like make it look like you're doing a whole lot. So what I do, I have about 26 multiple formations, and then you take left and right, and I'm not great at math. I think that's 52 formations that you make a defensive coordinator prepare for, but you'll see is that it's not difficult for the kids to grasp because it's easy concepts, and I try to do easy wording in the plays and in the formations. So we have about 6 to 7 run plays, and about 8 pass plays. We keep our slant concepts, our smash concepts, verticals. Mesh is a huge play for us. We got our flood, cells, slant wheels, and our attack, which attack could work well for us. It's the outsides are running digs, which are 10-yard ends, and the inside slot receivers are going to be running goes. And we try to create that point where the defense has to choose to pick one up, and we try to throw it in there if possible. So we go to those formations, and you start off in twins. Let me get here. Going into our offense, this was our base. For day one, we go into what we call right twins. We have our Z and our Y. Our Z is always to the play call. Y is normally with him. And then we have our X on the line, and our H it's almost like a pistol. We go straight formations right now. We want to switch this up and kind of create an empty feel. And we go now, we're out of there, we're still in right. We just move this H over, and it creates that 2x2 field that a lot of defensive coordinators, that's even field, and you can see, especially if they're running something like a zone concept or they're loose man, you can kind of create, if they're locked on here, but they have this guy at 7 to 8 yards, I'll tell my quarterback, hey, let's just throw it. We call it now, and we're just going to throw it. We're going to catch and snap. We're going to throw it right there. And it's good at a 3-yard play, 4-yard play every time, especially if they're 6 to 7 to, I've seen anywhere up to 15 yards just for no reason. Or I guess there is a reason, but it worked in our advantage going that way. So a normal defense you'll see is just you'll see something of that nature. This guy, again, no safety, but you have your hybrid backer, safety, and these are all become cornerbacks at this point. But that's the basic you'll see. Another formation we go into is trips. We're still in right trips. And then we'll just go Z's on the line. Y, and H. And again, it creates, with everybody running man, you can get this guy isolated, which we see we did. We had a guy, real fast guy, athletic. We put him, and you end up working well for us because we just run a vertical. And as you can see, there's not a whole lot of help for him. So if you can find the weakest defender, I try to pick on him, and even if I have to motion away from him for that to happen. But like I said, we do a lot of formations. So now if I want to go, let's change it into a different look, but keep my trips fill, I'll just move him here. And now we call this trips wing. We still have our trips fill. We can run all our concepts. I like to have that because all our concepts you can run out of any formation. All 26 of them. We can run a slant, we can run a flood, we can run anything we want out of every formation. That was when I was looking through formations for 8-man, and when I was looking to see how I can incorporate what I've done in 11-man, I found that this is an easy way to do it. So we want to create that same trips feel, and we put that wing back there. Now that makes the defense choose, do they want to stay out, or they want to come in a little bit? And that's an easy block for him, and we can get a quarterback run. Quarterback, we get a block here, you see there's a lot of space. It just depends on what you face, but with multiple formation, you make a defense coordinator go crazy. So let's say we want to keep this trips fill, but again, we throw something else different. We call this tray. We put our H back, or our running back, as a tight end now, and our Y becomes a wing. Well, again, that creates fits when you have a tight end and wing on the same side and they're both eligible. And again, you have a one-on-one backside almost exclusively all the time. So if you can figure out a way for your guy to get, because a lot of guys will try to take away the inside. Well, that's an easy call. You run a vertical or run some kind of post or something to get the guy, to get the defense there, to get the defense out of whack. So we keep our trips fill. I'm a big believer in trips. We'll go tray here. And then again, we want to keep that. And we go back to this twins. We're back to our twins wing. And you go left to right. And that's already something that the defense has to account for. Again, we just call this, what do I call that? Empty tight. No, that was double wing. We have our double wing there. And then again, we just now, with another different formation, we can, that's an X. Again, with these tight formations, you can run mesh. You can run a lot of things that make the defensive coordinator go crazy when he's trying to plan for you. So yeah, we call this scrunch. And it's easy names for your kids to know, but yet it looks like you're doing tons of different things. Okay, so now we have our inside guys on the line and our outside guys as wingbacks. Now again, I can flip-flop it and it becomes left. That'd be left, scrunch, tight. And anytime we say tight, it's because we have a tight end. So we have that. Going back to our twins look, I'm going to do strictly formations right now. So we're going to do, remember this was our base, our day one formation. Okay, now we want to create a tight end feel. We simply just move him here, and we call that twins open. What it does is, and I have a clip for this coming up, is you can run this toss action out here, and your cornerback normally is about right there, maybe a little bit out, but that's an easy block if he takes his drop step and get here. And it's a good play for a big situation. Okay, so we have our twins open. And then again, we can go, we call it ace put him on the line, and we have our single receiver out there. Again, that creates, if you have some bigger guys, which I didn't have the luxury, you can still tighten it up. So 8-man's not just a big spread game. We can tighten it up and create some gaps, run power, run counter, run things like that. So we have, let me see, so we have our ace, and then we go, I love that tight end feel because you have, because again, it creates a different element on the defense that they haven't much had if you face a lot of spread teams. We'll motion. We just call this laser and rocket. Go Z laser. And then if we go Z loop, so loop and rope are our orbits. And then rocket are our jet motions. And it'd be great. I mean, y'all know, but it creates the defense. Now, you can either have this guy, once he goes, he's either bumping or he's going to come here and usually blitz off, which you can take advantage of that. You can toss it backside, and there's really nothing they can do about it unless they have a beast there. But that corner's in trouble if he comes up to blitz, or if he bumps over, you have some open fields to do. But motioning, I believe, in the 8-man game has been a huge benefit for me because it does create some difficulties on the defense. You want to create things that are very easy for the kids to understand, but yet looks complex. So that's our twins tight. And then we go there. So motioning has been a huge thing for us. We get in our normal twins. Like I said, day one is our twins. We'll run our wide receiver across, and we'll go into our inside zone. Day one, I'm going to teach our inside zone. And we'll call it, for the sake of Denver. Denver is inside zone left, and Broncos inside zone right. Just like you read it, you walk up to the line, we call Denver, you know Denver's left, because we read it Denver and Bronco. So we're going to run inside zone right as Bronco, inside zone left is Denver. So we want to run here. The way we block it, you're going to get a look like this, usually with two backers. And I say, now you don't have enough to block everybody, so what we have to do is, just like any zone teams, we're gonna take a step over and try to double that nose. We got to shield him and then try to get to that backer. Our hopes is if he crashes down and he comes in, it's a lot of stuff going on that we could still get that play off. And usually it's right. You get that right there, which you'll see that in a minute. So that's our inside zone. We can go inside zone left or inside zone right. Another thing we like to do is, let's say we want to run it out of empty, or empty formation. Well, that makes it easier on our linemen, because now you have a 3-1 box and you're still double teaming. He's getting him. You go there, and that's even better look for you, because most of the time your quarterback's going to be one of your better athletes. Okay, so that's our inside zone. That's day one. When we do our install in spring, it's a little offside. We teach Bronco, and we teach about 6 formations on day one, which they get. So then we go into our outside zone. Our outside zone is Indy and Colt, or Indianapolis, left and right. Okay, so you walk up to the line. We know Indy is left, Colt is right. And it's just a stretch or outside zone play. So the lineman steps. We're just going to take that side step, side step, side step. And we're still going to double team here. It's still our zone rules. We're just our different aim points. So we want to run it out of empty. we're going there, we're taking that inside shoulder. If I'm running it this way, I'm taking this shoulder out. I'm trying to get it away from play side. We're going to take our 6-inch step to begin with, our 6-inch step, then work our other opposite foot up, and then get to the backer's shoulder. That's our aim points right there. Working through those hips in our double team, usually the center, but we always tell them we're going to have 4 hands on our guy that's in front of our defensive lineman and 4 eyes on that backer we're trying to block. Because if we don't get him blocked, this play's blown up. So we have to get him there. Okay? So we have our Colt, that'd be Indy, and then Colt's on the other side. Again, we run it out of twins. We're stretching this, so we want to take the snap. We want to get there. Running back's going to take a zone step, we call it. Just going to take a zone step here to kind of pause it, and then bring our right foot, take your hand off right, and get up and get gone. Receivers. Now, if you had a guy, he was a very small kid, he wasn't going to block most people, so we would tell him, engage and then run off. Better act like it. You're going to get thrown to. But then you have this guy, more of a tight end slot guy that can block. Well, we want to engage him. We want to pound him and make him feel like he's inside into the defensive line. We want to get after him, make sure he doesn't get off and make that play. But I like to do these one words on our toss. Detroit and Lion. Detroit left, Lion right. Again, it's easy for the kids to remember when you do these one words. They know Detroit. Well, Detroit tells everyone they know they have a job on something. So we run it out of twins. Double team is okay on this, but it's a lot harder. You're going to have a lot of calls on this because we're going to take these drop steps, drop step, and then we're getting out. We're trying to create. Again, he's probably if we're trying to take him over to let him go get that end, and this guy's going to go try to get this backer when he flows this way, and then we're going to more of our toss. We're getting out. Quarterback reverses, pitches, and he's going to be one of the lead blockers as well. I don't do pretty boy quarterbacks that don't try to block. We got to get them out. We got to toss that ball, and you got to be a lead blocker. If I had a pulling guard, we could do that, but we just don't have that. A lot of them don't have an 8-man. So toss is a good play. I mean, just like anything, but you have to make it simple for these guys to understand and let them play fast. That's what, with these lines, we have very few rules for them to follow because I want them to know, quit thinking and play. If they mess up, I tell them, like every coach, a lot of coaches does, mess up at 100%, mess up at 110%. We want to get after them and go. So that's our base run game. Day 1, we cover inside zone. Day 2, we review inside zone, go to outside zone. Day 3, we come to toss, and we review all 3. By then, we have all our rules, and then we get into our jet sweeps and everything like that. So our jet sweeps, okay, we call that crimson and tide. So back on our jet sweeps, we have crimson and tide. Again, it's left and right. Just like they're reading the word itself. That's something that Coach Ron Lynch, he used to coach down in Houston area at some big schools, and he's one of my mentors. And he said, make it simple, make it simple. So this was the most simplest way I could learn how to do. Again, our blocking scheme for this is the same as we were doing for toss. So we go Y, crimson here, okay? Our normal formation defense we're going to see is we're going to see that. Again, he's either coming here or he's coming down to blitz. So He bumps over, let's say that. Well, now, again, we have to get out there. We have to get out there. We have to take over that nose, take over that end, get to that backer. Put your butt to the ball there, and let's go right there. Okay? You got to let your athletes get in space and let them work. So that's our jet sweep. A lot of times what I'll do with this too is I'll put the Z off the ball, or I'll put the Y off the ball and Z, and then I'll motion him, and we'll fake that jet sweep, and we'll run inside zone with the quarterback. But we're going to get him over here. We'll let him set back up, and then we'll motion the H back across just to see how it messes up the defense, if we can get some mismatches or things like that. But again, we want to do that jet sweep with our YH. We put the H on the line here. That makes the X come off. We could run tide. Okay, we run our Y on the ball. We put our Z off the ball. We run crimson. Got to get your athletes the ball. That's something, the 8-man, that I tried to make it more like 11-man, whereas we're going to have a true drop back quarterback. We're going to try to throw it around. But I found we're going to have to get our athletes the ball somehow, some way. It might be unorthodox, but we got to figure out how to do it. And I think that's in any football. If you're a triple option guy, we got to figure out how to throw the ball a little bit if we have a great quarterback. So we got to figure out how we get the ball to our athletes and jet sweep. First game, we run jet sweep to our fastest kid. He breaks it for a touchdown. End up a big swing for us. So jet sweep can be a great play for us. So that's really all our runs. We have a trap. We have our trap. Actually, I forgot about a trap. So in 8-man, it's a little different. We have a Tennessee and then Titan. Go left and right. So on trap, this is you have to have some great linemen for this. It's hard to do it with a back, but you can do it with your quarterback. So let's say we're at an empty or trips, and you have your normal setup like this, and we have a backer. Well, you can do one or two things. We can go H, can go there. We can boom, boom, and then have that trap block right there and fit it in there. Or we can go back to this. Okay. Again, we can go him to the backer, him to the backer. We're going to chip there, and then we have to run him off. But this quarterback, again, he cannot be hesitant. He's got to hit it now, because that hole's going to it's going to close quickly. That's our trap. That's really all we do with that. And it's big situations we run that. So again, I keep it simple with the wording so the kids can play fast. That's really all our run plays. We do our, speed options. We do our options. I was thinking read, what do we do? And then we go Harry and Potter. Harry is left, Potter's right. So we want to go start our twins formation day one. And we get this. Okay. Well, we call Potter is read option right. We're going to leave this guy unblocked. We're going to go there. And we leave the backside end unblocked too, because we think this backer is most of the time more dangerous. But we, game by game, situation by situation, we can chip him and then go to that backer. Again, if he comes in, we're going to run Bronco, or I'll say inside zone, off of this. And if he comes in straight off there, quarterback's going to keep that. If he comes out with the quarterback, we're just going to give it. Worked out pretty good play for us. We didn't run it a whole lot out of this. What we did with it, we ran it out of our shotgun formation, or our empty. we run our Y or whoever, it could be Z, it could be X. Again, we're going to motion him across. Let's say we call Harry this time. Harry's left for us. So this tackle's got to know he's going to that backer immediately. We're going to get him. We're leaving him unblocked, and we're hoping he comes over. As soon as we see that, we're going to read. If he comes down, we're going to hand this off. Get it immediately. If he comes out with it, quarterback's going to keep it. We start in March meeting with my quarterbacks because I tell them I want them to be me on the field. I want them to think like I do. So there's no, oh, what are we doing? No, we know what we're doing because we've been doing the same thing since March. Again, we had 7-on-7 today. We've done this. We're going to do the same thing now as we do in November. So we want to keep this Harry and Potter. Again, I try to keep it easy for everyone. We can run our Z. We put our Y on the ball. Same thing. We run our laser or our rocket motion. Another thing we do a little different. Remember, with our loop and rope, our orbit motions. Let me erase that and fix it. With our orbit motions, we come around with our H or our Y, whoever. We'll just, for the sake of whatever, we'll do X this time. So we're going to call X rope Potter. And again, everybody knows Potter's right, so we're reading that guy. We're going to go there. He's going to come there and then loop around. Well, now we have a speed option look. And we're going to attack him. I tell him we're going to attack that in, and if he comes out, because this is normally one of our faster guys, if he comes out, we're going to pitch that, and we're going to the races. You can run out of Indy formation. We did that out of twins a lot with the back. We do it out of every formation, like I said. Any formation we do, we can do every single play we have. Because I don't know, I like having a full arsenal no matter what situation I'm in. If I need to go tight, I still have our mesh, I still have our slants, I still have everything we can use. So we do this, we block down, we let him choose, we make him be wrong. And that's what the quarterback has got to know, that when he makes a decision, he's got to know what I would do. So if we pitch that, he now is blocking somebody. He's attacking the end. If he ends up getting blown up, he gets blown up. That's part of it. But he knows that we have to make that right decision, especially on the pitch. It can't be a bad pitch, or he gets an earful from me on the sidelines. So, again, that's our run plays from now until November. That's what we're going to do. Okay, so we're in our pass concepts. Day one, we get in that right twins again. And it's just our slant concept. Okay, we run our slant concepts. We're going to go there. We're in outs. Now, a lot of people, H, what does the back do? What does the back do? I usually tell him I'm going to have him block, because being in twins, the front you see is this. That's 5-on-3. That's a hard situation. So what we can do is we can play action, which is easy. It's called, I go red or blue. Red is play action right, blue is play action left. And it's easy. It's just we're going to fake it, and then we're going to hopefully see this Z open, but you see this and this. So we're going to go, let's say we go red. We're going to play action, and he's just going to pick up. He's looking inside to backside to outside. He's making sure, and he knows the weaknesses of the lineman. Let's say the right tackle's a freshman, and he's having some trouble with this senior end. Well, the running back can go over and help him. We can double team, we can help him however we need to. But the running back knows it's his job is to fill up anything that goes wrong when he's pass blocking. So if we're in twins, he is blocking unless he's tagged. And most time I'll just tag him on a swing route. So there, that's day one. We call that falcon. That's our slant concept. Okay, easy. Then we get over here in our empty formation. Again, it's easy. We're going to go there. Quarterback usually makes the right choice, hopefully, and we get a good play out of it. It's just an easy slant. Okay, so then we go to our trips. It changes not a whole lot because when we run a play, we want to attack the same area on the field out of every formation. So we were attacking this area right here. Well, we just run a drag across. And it usually will pop open right there in the middle when it gets to backer height, and we'll just bust it open right there. That's our slant concept. I walked in first day. They said, what are we going to do on offense? I draw it on the board. This was the play I showed them, and we're running it. The kids might not know all of it right now, but they know falcon. They know our slant concept. Okay? Another thing we like to do with this, we'll go stack on one side. Okay? You have to cut your splits in there. We put the slot receiver on the line, and then we have our X off the line. We're still running our slant concept. They have the same responsibility. So we're going to run it out, and then he's going to trail his butt and run a slant. Okay? That makes the defenders choose one or the other. And usually they hadn't seen this a whole lot, so they end up choosing wrong. But this is our slant concept. No matter what situation we're in, we can run this out of any formation. We get in a tight end formation. Let's look at that. That's the only time it changes a little bit. We go our twins open. We have our X there. H, Z, Y. Well, X normally attacks this part of the field, but we got to be smart about it a little bit. Say we get something like this, he walks down in his face, whatever. Well, he's going to run it out right here just because it's an open part of the field. We want to attack grass. And over here, we're still running that. We're running a flat and we're running a slant. That's all we're doing. Again, we get in all these different formations. Let's say we go twins wing. Here, he's doing the same exact thing if he was doing anywhere on the field. He's running that flat route. And we're still making, it's simple, but yet it seemed to work for us. Okay. Go. That's our slant concept. That is our slant concept. Our next pass play we do really is I teach mesh. I know it's an air raid thing, but guys, in 8-man, it's one of our best plays that we had last year when we ran it right. So we're just going to get it. Let's start it out of right empty. Okay, I always tell that this guy Y is always the mesh guy. So it kind of gets confusing, but Y is always the mesh guy, no matter what. So Y is going to be the mesh guy. And then he's going to, the innermost receiver on the other side is going to mesh with him. We tell Y to get on the top. Z will always have the dig. And then we'll have post on the back side. If you have a team that runs some kind of coverage on you, a cover 3, you create a levels type deal. You have your first level, second, and third level. Something's bound to pop open. This guy, the H, is normally the guy to poke open, especially in this formation. So, again, this was one of our best plays, but where it was the most effective is when we ran it out of trips. When we ran it out of trips, man, it helped us a lot. Remember, Y is always the mesh guy, no matter what. No matter where he at on the field, if we call mesh, he is the mesh guy. So now X knows he's got to cut his splits a little bit so he can get across. Well, now it changes our routes a little bit. We want to create the same kind of levels, so we go H, and Z has the post. Now that did change from last time because if we run out of trips, we want the inside guy to create another kind of mesh situation right there where he were to cross with the Y. And again, this is a lot of practice because the first day I had the Y and the H and they just smoked each other. But it took practice because you create this with another receiver or another defender, then he could pop open right here because this guy's going with the Y. But we have to see this mesh, and then I try to put my best athlete at the Y. And we have him pop open on the backside with space, a lot of space open. And he can usually get that sideline and go. But that's how we look at mesh in trips. We have 2 mesh points right here and then right there. If practice, if done right, this is one of the best plays that I've run pass concept-wise. Let's say we have it out of a tight end formation. I'll give you one more formation to see it out of. So let's say we go trips tight. So now Y, or let's go scrunch. Scrunch is a spread tight formation. We have our Y, our Z, our H, and our X. It's a tight formation, and it's a lot of trash to get through. So they know they got to get to linebacker height. It's the Y is always meshing. He's meshing with the H right there. Again, so we go back to the way we were doing in empty. He's got the dig. He's got the post. Just a tighter version of it. And again, when it's tight like this, you have say you have one backer back here. He's getting hit by both because I tell him when the Y and the H or Y and the X, whoever, they have to get shoulder to shoulder when they're coming across the field. It's a thing they have to practice. But if they do it right, it's one of the hardest places to cover. But again, you have to have reps when you do this. So our next one we go to is smash. Classic formation that we ran when I was 11 man. We ran everything. It's a corners. Got those mixed up. We got our corners from our inside. We got our hitches. Like that. Good play, especially if this is your great athlete. He can work to the shoulder, that inside shoulder or the outside shoulder there of this defender, and then get a good break, put his feet in the ground and go there. So this is a great play, but the reason I like it so much is not how it is out of spread or empty. When I put it in trips, now he's covering the same area, so he's running a post. Okay, and last year we ran it right a couple times, and that H was open a lot of the time when we ran it. One other thing we like to do with this, there we go. We'll do this stack. I showed you this earlier. Oh, sorry, I put it messing up today. We'll go twin stack. We're still running that same deal. We're going to trail, and the Y's still running. Oh, he'd run the corner there. He'd run that corner, but then the X or Z is going to stop right there, and he's still running that hitch. As a defender, when you're having a receiver come straight at you, and then you have a receiver behind him, it's an easy play, easy concept for us to get down. So any formation, let me show you one more formation in it. We'll go to our tray formation. Our running back becomes our tight end. Z's off the line. X is on the line out here. Okay? We're still going to run our hitches with our X and our Z. Y still got that corner, and H has still got the post. Okay? With this, if this is a backer on your running back, or let's say an overhang on your slot receiver, man, that's a tough job for a bigger guy to cover there. And it gives you some, I just try to figure out who's the weakest guy that my guys have to cover or my guys have to go against. And we're going to attack him until the other coach figures out what to do. So the last thing we're going to cover right here is our flood concept. Now, I've seen other people do different ways. I've seen it one way and I like it. Flood is the only exception on my H out of twins not blocking in the backfield. We're going to have our Z, our Y, our X. We call this an arrow route on our backside. It's a slant with no steps up. He's going to on the snap of the ball, he's coming inside immediately. Okay? Your H is going to chip the edge and then get to the flat. We're running about a 6 to 8 yard out. I give a lot of freedom to the receivers because they've got to feel their opening. And then we're just going to run an outside release go on there. I'll usually tell my quarterback to roll out there. When the linemen hear flood, they know that they're going to have to get out a little bit, especially this tackle. He's going to have to get out and try to find any blitzing linebackers or things like that. But that's an easy play on this. So we're going to go show you some film. Oh, one more play. I'm sorry, I forgot. It was our best play of the year. Our total best play. I know I said mesh, but this was our best play. It's a tunnel screen. We call it solid. It works out of trips, but you can run out of any formation. But we liked it out of trips a whole lot. Just your classic tunnel screen. Your linemen have to, especially if there's a bigger guy right there, your linemen have to get up and go. He's going to go block his guy. He's going to go block his guy. He's getting out. And he's going to take a step just to sell this. He's going to take one step and then work back underneath here. And we want to get that ball right underneath this tackle's block. And man, it several times in games, it changed momentum for us. Just getting that ball out there. Another thing we like to do real quickly out of this is we'd run it to the trip side so much that this X, they would see trips and they think, well, now what we can do, we can still run it. It's just a little shorter and we're getting up and going. This is probably, I love screens. I didn't get into much, but this was my favorite play. And we can run it out of anything. We can run Y solid here. He's going to block him. He's going there. He's going there. And now we're going there. Okay? You can run any solid from any person on the field. And it ends up helping you a lot. But it takes reps for those linemen to get used to going out immediately and knowing the key points that if he's coming here, he's going to have to get to that shoulder. Again, that blocking that shoulder right there, he's going to have to get the near shoulder, the inside shoulder every time. So I think we're about to go to the film. So you see right here, we're in our right twins. Again, this is our first game of the year. Again, we didn't do a whole lot against this team, but right twins. You see there, they did not a great job, but they got the double team and the backer in the back. That backside end, again, they have 5 guys there, and you have 3 guys blocking. You're going to have to hope your running back can make somebody miss. If he can't make somebody miss, he probably doesn't need to play running back. So, right there, he makes 3 miss barely. Got a good finish block right there. And I'll let it play through. But we got enough blocks just to let the lineman, just let that back go through. And he made the tackle. Okay. But it was a good run, got us a first down. Now, again, like I said, out of any formation, we can run the same thing. So we're running, again, I showed you, we're going to run Denver here. We're going to run our inside zone. We've seen on film that this team only puts 3 in the box. So look, we can get that going. And he even runs out. So look, we get that. And we block it. They stack it and block it well. But again, as your quarterback or your running back, In 8-man football, you're going to have to make somebody miss at some point because you're not going to have enough people. Okay, this film real blurry, but okay. Again, this is our empty formation. We're going to run our quarterback Bronco. And you got your double team. That was a beautiful block. If you look, they did exactly right. They got a nose and 2 overhang guys. So they should know, keep their eyes up. They're going to go, block. Quarterback does a good job of getting some yards there. Okay. I told you about our motions just a minute ago. Here's the same thing of our Bronco or Denver with our motions. Okay, this team affected a lot with the jet sweeps. They didn't want to get jet sweep on. So we run our motions right here. We get there, we fake the jet, give the zone. And again, I had that mark on there. He should have went outside, a little too late. But again, a great play. Everybody blocked pretty good right there. Got everybody blocked. Center did what he's supposed to, went to the backer. They followed the jet and did what we wanted to. Okay, then we went into our outside zone. Our Colt, this was outside, this was in the right trips. Okay, we want to get that outside release from the lineman. Again, he does a good job there. We don't block that backer, but again, the running back has to make somebody miss every now and then. Okay, so he does a good job there. Line 85 does a good job of hooking him and pushing him and then keep blocking. That's just relentless effort by your lineman is key in any football. You just got to keep blocking and keep going. Okay, and then like I said before, this was our right twins open, which is open means we'll have a tight end away from the twins. Okay, we squeezed that, you see here, we squeezed that corner down a little bit. And this was, they didn't know, but this was our best player. He was a bigger guy. And we got everybody blocked. Well, not really, but we got almost everybody blocked. And he has a good, but again, we weren't super fast, so we got caught. But if you go back to it, everybody, they take that, you see that zone step, they take that drop step a minute, and he doesn't get his head across. If he gets his head across, it works a little bit better, but he does enough to get that. He shoves him with that forearm and gets it there. And that's a good play by the backer, but he gets that running back makes a miss and goes, but again, gets caught. Okay? We go back to, now we're in, that was our tosses. We're here again on our tosses, on our twins. We're in left twins. Okay? You see that line right there, they all take that step. They get their guy. We're leaving that backside end unblocked on purpose because we just don't have enough. Great effort by the linemen. They get everybody blocked but that corner. All right, so that was our view of our run game. You didn't. So now we're going to the Falcon. This was our first home game, big game. So you see, we're going to run it slow, then I'll run it back. Also, I like to freeze people a lot. And then you get here. Again, we run outs and slants. And the quarterback knew, because look how that guy's playing him. Look how that guy's playing him. His hips are to the ball. He's not looking at the quarterback at all. So he's just focused on there. He gives him a good shove there, a good inside, get out, and there he sees the pocket. This was a great throw by the quarterback and a great job by the receiver. He sees that. You see it at the top right here. He gets him going to the outside. I think he's going to run, stick his foot in the gut, use his hands, and he gets around him. Right there, great job. He just gets his shirt tail, literally by his shirt tail, got thrown down. But that was a great job running Falcon. Okay, again, we can tag, we can do whatever we want out of this. We Well, I do a lot of tags. So this right here will be right trips, Falcon, X, go. Again, we're going to run our Falcon to our trip side. Our X is away from it, so we're just running a go to that side. Okay? And we knew going in that they were going to man you up. They were going to get straight in your face. So we knew that if we could get a couple verticals, that they'd have to back up, because they had some big guys, some older guys than us. So you see it here. Pass protection, they just drop back. Falcon, perfect, right there. They played that pressure defense. We ran a vertical. He did a great job of getting off the ball. When somebody's pressuring your face, he does a quick step with his hands and gets his shoulder underneath the defender. And that way he has a little bit more space. And you see it there. And he just outruns him for a score right there. That puts us up going into the half 8-7. Or 8-7. Okay. Didn't get into this, but our verticals, we like to run this a lot. We run that motion across, and then we got our bubble. Again, you put your best players in space to make them have good plays. You can't expect a little guy like number 2 here to run a fullback trap. You got to find a way to make them successful, and that's what we tried to do. Here's our jet sweep that we went over. 4's our fastest guy, and this was the one I was talking about at the beginning of the year. We send him in motion. We see that guy coming across. He makes one person miss, and he's fast. So he just scores there. They block it well. Again, you have to get that drop step and get outside. And the linemen are all right there, so they do a good job of getting that. Okay, again, this was that Falcon out of that empty. He looks. Nobody's covering that flat right there. Great job. That was a senior last year. Okay. This was our solid play, our solid screen. Again, this was a rivalry game that we were in. It was a close game at halftime. I think it was 12-6 at this point. And we're trying to find a way we're up 12-6. We're trying to find a way to separate ourselves. And we know anytime we need a big play, we go to this. Oh, sorry. Wrong play. But this was our verticals. Again, this was just an amazing catch. I forgot to put this in here. I'm sorry. I'll let you see it. So this is pitch and catch. Quarterback underthrew it a little bit, but that's why a good receiver, he makes the quarterback look good. Okay, so this is the play I was talking about. Okay, you have your solid screens. Everybody gets out perfectly. He would have scored right there if he would have got under the center or underneath the tackle right there. But he gets caught, and then we end up punching it in. Okay, that was a great job, Parker. So, tell you about the motions. We're going to run our rope motion, our wide receiver, and then we're just going to run our inside zone. Day 1, just to make it look different. Run it again. Right there, everybody does a great job. Running back reads it, gets a first down in a 1st and 10 situation. Okay. So that's kind of what we did with 8-man offense. I know it was a big change for me. Just losing those 2 tackles and losing a slot receiver or a running back doesn't seem like a whole lot, but it is. I mean, when you have to change your whole schemes, you're blocking, it changes a lot. My contact information is on the slide. It's J. Barber at leeacademycougars.net, and my cell phone number is on there. Feel free to call me. Any questions? If you just want to connect, you're ever in my area, in the Memphis area, I welcome you to come by. I thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Thank you, Chief Pigskin, for having us, and have a great day.